Not just talking, top rope walking, ultimate Xing, serious flexing, never be vague with your boy Craig, and opinion mixing from Pete to Nixon. Keep doing things in an impactful way. Bloody nonsense, as the Brits say. Talking bloody nonsense.
Yes, it's me. It's the MIC Craig, aka Mr. Impact. Joined as always by the one only Peter Nixon. This is Talking Bloody Nonsense right here on the TNAW channel. It's a new week, it's a new Impact. But first things first, Nixon, how's it going?
It's not too bad. I've been gifted a Guinness 0%. I'm not a Guinness drinker, but I thought I'll give it a try. And if it's good, maybe we'll start stocking it at the Portland Arms, which is the pub that I manage. It's not good.
No.
So that's all I have for you in the intro.
Fair enough. It's I've never been a big Guinness drinker, but
nah, nor me.
So I guess before we get into all the Impact news and everything else, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to the guys at TNTAT's podcast for having me on this past week. That episode is available now on the bodyslam.net YouTube channel. We spoke about Joe Hendry, we spoke about Nick Aldis, we spoke about the relationship between Impact in the UK. It was a lot of fun, and really appreciate them having me on. And yeah, go check out them. They're great guys, always chatting British wrestling, which obviously helps get the word out a bit more. So thank you to them. And I guess we should get into it. As you can see somewhere on this is what's on tap tonight. And we're going to be talking Nick Aldis, we're going to be talking Xia Brookside. We're going to finish off the state of the Impact roster address. And in the final 10, we're joined by Frank Fiott to discuss the upcoming Pro Wrestling East Worth the Wait show. Of course, the master behind our incredible theme song. So stick around for that. But I guess without any further ado, we should kick it off and let's talk about Nick Aldis. Recently announced he's given his notice with the NWA and is done in the new year.
Yeah, he's not working his notice, is he? He's been suspended for his notice period.
Yeah, Billy Corgan, NWA, suspending Nick Aldis. I mean, what's your take on that? It seems very weird and for me, it doesn't seem right treating someone who made your company relevant again to be suspended, even though he did the right thing. He told them first and then he announced it on social media. What's your take on that? It seems I've never been a fan, and this is just gone to another level for me now. But what's your take on it?
I'm not really sure. So I think both are a little bit at fault, but Corgan is more at fault. So from what I understand, this all started when the NWA Empower show happened, which Mickie James was the woman behind. I don't know if it did the numbers that the NWA were expecting, or maybe the show match quality wise wasn't as good as Billy Corgan was hoping for, and said the reason they're not doing another Empower is because the women can't compete at the level of the men. I'm paraphrasing here. Obviously, Nick Aldis took offense to that because Billy Corgan was essentially slighting Mickie James's work on the Empower project. So Nick Aldis, I don't know if this was the catalyst, but it probably was. He put in his notice with the NWA and was then open about the reasons why in interviews on Twitter, whatever. And that was the catalyst, word of the day, for Billy Corgan to suspend him for essentially his entire notice period. So that is Nick Aldis done with the NWA. I think Nick maybe should have waited to voice his opinion until after he was, officially gone from the company. But, Billy Corgan shouldn't have said what he said. That's a massive disrespect to women's wrestling as a whole. It was the right thing for Nick Aldis to do in terms of step away from the NWA if he didn't feel like he could get on with the promoter anymore. Then he had to step away, and it's time for him to move on anyway. What else could he do with the NWA? He's been the champion a couple of times, been the longest reigning NWA champion in a long, long time. Had a fantastic run, tremendous matches. A couple of those matches I was present for, against Ricky Knight Jr. and against Brad Slayer at Fightmare at Carrow Road in 2019. Yeah. Both incredible matches. Nick Aldis, I think he is underrated. And, that says something considering he was the NWA World Champion for so long. I still think people don't know how good he really is. So I'm very interested to see where Nick ends up now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The first wrestling match I ever saw in person was Nick Aldis versus Douglas Williams at a MediaCom, and obviously, big TNA fan. I know what that's all about. So that was very cool. But Aldis as NWA champion, that was huge. He made that title relevant, and it's crazy to say considering it's the oldest championship in wrestling. To say that it wasn't exactly relevant. It was still around. I mean, TNA was its last relevant stop before Aldis. So it's, in terms of NWA, Aldis, Billy Corgan, first of all, saying that I believe his words used were that the women couldn't wrestle the NWA style. And what is that style? I don't understand it. NWA doesn't have its own style as far as I'm aware. I used to watch the YouTube, but it's on YouTube for free watched for a bit, but stopped watching because of Jim Cornette, but that's a whole other thing. It was it is based on the work she put into that show. Mickey essentially booked that show, booked the talent for it, and I didn't get to catch it because there was a lot of wrestling on that weekend, so I didn't get to catch. Obviously, Deonna Purrazzo defending the Knockout Championship against Melina, and Camille being part of it, Chelsea Green. No, to say it's daft to me that it's even a conversation that women can't main event pay-per-views. It's beyond ridiculous at this point. I don't know what the inside of the inside the oldest camp and the NWA camp. I don't know what's going on, but Billy Corgan, obviously, Impact fans are very, very familiar with Billy Corgan and the former TNA president, which is ridiculous to say. But it's a crap situation that it had to end this way, because Aldis can. Aldis was a big reason that people would attend NWA shows because he was doing such a great job as the NWA World Champion, defended it all over the world. You know, it was current main event at All Out for the NWA World Championship.
Yeah, against Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, and then NWA started putting out pay-per-views after that. They've got. I guess you can call it TV, even though it's on streaming service, but everything's on streaming service now, so it in the barrier of the digital media. As far as Aldis's next step, do you think Impact could be a possibility for him?
I think it's a big possibility, but it's a possibility because Mickie James is already there. This is the way I see things going. Scott D'Amore is always quick off the mark when someone like this comes on the market. Look at Bobby Fish. So I think it's entirely possible that Nick Aldis stops by for a couple of tapings, maybe an Impact Plus special, maybe even up until Hard to Kill. And then he goes to either AEW or WWE. Both companies are going to be vying for him. Let's face it.
Yeah.
I think he's my age, so he's still got a few good years left in him. He looks fantastic. He's well spoken. We know he can promo. He's got the whole package. He can work his ass off. I wouldn't even, if I were WWE, I wouldn't even put him through NXT. I'd get him straight on the main roster. But AEW might be more appealing to him because it's a lighter schedule, and Tony Khan might throw all the money at him. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. But I think it is entirely possible that he has a stop at Impact before he goes on to one of the other big companies.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's entirely speculation on our part. But, I mean, going to WWE, it's more than possible. He's never been there. But he knows a lot of people who work there now. See, Abyss and Pete Williams and
Cody.
Cody, of course. I know. I mean, doesn't really count, but he was at the Hall of Fame with Mickie James a few years ago. So he obviously must have spoken to a few people there. I mean, just before we move on, is Nick Aldis, because you mentioned getting straight on the main roster, does Nick Aldis' name carry enough weight to be straight on SmackDown or Raw? Or would he have to make a stop at NXT just to make people more aware of him?
Yeah, you make a good point. Maybe either get him to do a loop with NXT, because the people in that little building are hardcore wrestling fans, so they would know Nick Aldis and he'd get a big pop, and you'd be able to introduce him like that. Or you could send him straight to the main roster and show a few vignettes and introduce him the old school way of showing a month's worth of vignettes before he actually debuts.
Yeah. I mean, the last guy to come from another company who started on the independent scene to start the main roster, AJ Styles. I think he was pretty much the last one.
Yeah, Mike Bennett.
Yeah, Bennett. That was a big surprise because I wasn't familiar with Mike Bennett until he showed up in Impact. So maybe obviously Triple H is obviously doing his own thing over there. He knows what he's doing. Again, it's all speculation. He may not even want WWE, but I think it's more than a possibility. Anywhere, any company should want Nick Aldis on their product. I'm talking with the Andy over on TN Tights. I mentioned that Aldis has got a old school vibe to him, but can very much go with the new style or the current style, which maybe that would have to be changed up on in WWE. I don't know if they'd let him continue with the National Treasure, which will be a pity because he's got something with this stuff. He's got something with it, and he knows what he's doing. But I do agree with you in that a running Impact is more than possible. That bridge is fixed now. Is that multiverse matches? Is that Slammiversary? Got treat like a big deal at Slammiversary, which is fair enough because he's still the first ever British heavyweight champion of a major promotion. And that's never going to be taken away.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's more possible. Like I said, anyone and anywhere should want Nick Aldis. Got to put in for him because he's very underrated, and as you said, considering what 2-3 years as NWA World Champion, and to stay he's underrated it doesn't feel right. But that's the landscape of wrestling. It's NWA were very limited in what they had, and Nick Aldis made the most of it, which can't fault him for. He did a fantastic job of making that title very, very important again. So I'm for Nick Aldis coming back. Obviously, I wouldn't know how to book it, but that's not my job. So I'm for Aldis returning to Impact once again. Now moving on to another British wrestling star, someone formerly of NXT UK, who appeared recently on Busted Open Radio and was speaking about their release from NXT UK, is Xia Brookside. During that interview, Tommy Dreamer told Xia Brookside, get your visa sorted and come to Impact. There's an opportunity waiting for you. Whenever you're ready, there's an opportunity waiting for you at Impact Wrestling. What's your take on that? It's Xia Brookside to the American fans isn't particularly well known. Her more known by her surname, if anything. Again, that's more to the die-hard wrestling fans and people who maybe caught NXT UK in the States or across the world will be more familiar with her. But what's your take on Xia Brookside? Well, there's an opportunity waiting for her at Impact Wrestling. Whether she takes it or not is a whole other thing. But Xia Brookside potentially coming to Impact Wrestling. How do you feel on that?
I'm not really sure. I've met Xia. She's okay. I met her on the set of Fighting with My Family, which would have been, it was several years ago, and she wasn't very mature. I will say that. If I get heat for that, so be it. I would hope in those years that have passed, she's matured. In ring wise, I think she's okay. She's not outstanding. She has the potential and the capability to be fantastic. So I wouldn't be offended if she popped up on Impact, but I wouldn't be that bothered if she didn't either. That's a hot take. I'm fairly sure that when NXT Europe kicks off, that's where she'll end up.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is all what I've heard from a few different people. This Xia Brookside, again, this is all just hearsay potentially. Hasn't got the best, or didn't have the best attitude in terms of, with people essentially in the matches she was involved in, which, it was a few years ago. She's 24. So it's still she she may have matured and gotten past that.
Yeah.
But when I saw the news, when I saw the report from everyone pretty much was listening, busted open at the time, I wasn't particularly bothered. I mean, I'm happy that there's going to be more British representation on Impact potentially, which is always good because Impact are clearly trying to get back over here into the UK to to do what they used to do and do it very, very well. Loads of impact talent are coming over to the UK in the next couple months, especially for 1PW. You've got the current one half knockouts tag team champions Ty Valkyrie coming over facing Tonga. You've got one half the Impact World Tag Team champions Rhino coming over. You've got Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz teaming up against Leon Slater and Malak DeReese, which I cannot tell you how excited I am for that match and maybe worth a trip down to Lincoln for. So it's all good in that sense of getting more British wrestlers on TV, and because obviously the more independent UK wrestlers we have on the big companies, if you like, in the States, the more people want to see them, or more people realize that there's a scene in the UK, which I'm all about. In terms of Xia Brookside, how she works, I've seen her a couple of times in person at Kamikaze, especially. Really the first independent show I went to was Kamikaze, and she was on that card. She faced Giselle Shaw in a last woman standing match. Again, a fine match. I knew the names of Brookside, mainly because I occasionally watched NXT UK, because it hadn't been up very, that was a period when NXT UK had really tapped into the British wrestling scene, and NXT UK had just been announced as a thing. And Xia Brookside, I think she was at the UK tournament, from the second UK tournament at the Royal Albert Hall. I believe she was part of that.
Yeah.
Again, didn't watch, but obviously I don't want to speak negative of someone I don't know. So there's not much more really I can say on that. But I think as far as an opportunity, Impact know what they're doing. They clearly see something in her. Because as mentioned, she's not a massive name in British wrestling. She's got a name. She's built a name, but I'll take it or leave it. I'm very indifferent. If she gets the opportunity, hope she smashes it, and I hope it all goes well, because the knockouts division could use a little bit of something. Whether Xia Brookside is that little bit of something, I don't know. But on the other side of that, she has she made it pretty clear that it's WWE for her. That's where she wants to be, which fair enough. That's it's starting to change now slightly, in the fact that people grew up watching TNA, so now they want to be part of Impact Wrestling, but it's still in that era of where WWE was the be all and end all. Who wanted to be around, still got a crap for it, saying she wants a WrestleMania moment, which doesn't everyone?
Well, yeah, exactly.
So I want nothing against Xia personally, because I don't know her personally. It's just all I've heard are rumors, and it's just she's probably matured. So who are we to say anything on that? It's all opinions. It's what we take our opinion for whatever you think it's worth, and just I hope it works out for her, because Impact have a good history of finding someone who has done well for themselves on the independents or elsewhere, but didn't maybe get enough eyes on them and making them into a star. Deon Purrazzo is a prime example of that. Was really had nothing to do in NXT. Maybe on TV once, popped up on an episode of Raw, and that was it. She comes to Impact and is being hailed, rightly so, as the best technical women's wrestler in the world, and it's hard to dispute that. So, Xia Brookside coming to Impact, I'm fine with it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because, like I said, it's more than likely NXT UK, also NXT Europe will come and knock him. Particularly as her dad still held in pretty high regard as a trainer there.
Yeah.
It seems to be that's where she wants to be. So it'll take or leave it, and I guess we'll see what happens in the next couple of months, because visas take a long ass time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pick up where we left off last week, and we're gonna go into the Impact Wrestling state of the roster address. And if you tuned in last week, then we went through the roster, the current Impact roster, and give our thoughts and feelings of whether we like to see them stay or if we would keep them, and how we'd utilize them if we had the book at Impact Wrestling. We finished off last week on Crazy Steve, so we'll pick up with Crazy Steve. For me, it's a keep because Crazy Steve has, because it's so much you can do with Crazy Steve in terms of he's very creative, got a great character, doesn't necessarily need decay, although it helps. Where do you stand on Crazy Steve?
Yeah, I'm with you. He's a utility player. I doubt he's costing the company much money, so I'd keep him around. He's never going to be world champion, but you need people on the roster to beat. That sounds bad, because he is talented and he's got a good physique and a great look and a cool character, a cool faction. So yeah, I'd keep Crazy Steve around for sure.
Yeah, he's got something. It just works, and
Exactly.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're gonna move on. Continue the roster. We're gonna go into our first non-active wrestler, or not non-wrestler. And the first announcer, David Penza. I know where I stand on this. As much as I love Penza, it's a no from me. Penza is a legend. That's not up for debate. But over the last few months, I know when he announces the title matches, it doesn't get me. Like, he doesn't yes, it's a title match, let's go. When he is doing intros for those champions and the championships, I as bad as it sounds, I would replace Penza with Christy Hemme, for instance. We've got Melissa Santos, who did very well at the Knockouts Knockdown. So that's who. It's a no for me on Penza. What about you, David Penza?
I want to be a contrarian and say, yeah, keep Penza because his voice is iconic. But you're right. He does tend to. He phones it in these days, unfortunately. Well, that's what it would seem. Because he just doesn't have the luster in his voice anymore, especially for the big, championship matches. Here's what I would do. I would keep Pinzer, but only bust him out for Impact Plus specials and for the main events.
Yeah.
And whether that's 1 or 2 matches a show, but just for the the live specials and the pay-per-views. And then I would bring in Melissa Santos as the regular ring announcer. I'd almost transition her into Pinzer's role. So have a year of Pinzer do the main events, and then have Melissa just do everything, because she's very talented. She's very, very good at ring announcing. But yeah, I'd keep Pinzer around. Yeah, for that reason.
Yeah, he's a legend. It's it'll always be known as the voice of WCW and TNA in the early days.
Yeah.
So, but I think now move it on a little bit. But again, I love Penzo. He's exceptional at what he does. Dina, Cody Dina. What you start this one? Cody Dina. Yes, no, bye, hello. What's your take on Dina?
I like Cody Dina. I think he's another guy that's very underrated, a great utility player. But I might even, as part of Violent by Design, I might give him a run with the X Division title, just to see what he can do. We've seen him have great matches with Speedball, Mike Bailey, and other people in the X Division. We know he can go. Give him a run with the X Division title. See what he does with it. Because he's a great villain. He's got a really hateable face, really intense.
Yeah,
really intense face. He's also, we found out, he's been agenting and producing. So he's a team player and multi-skilled. So I think it would be foolish to get rid of Cody Dina.
Yeah, I'm with you. He can do it all pretty much. He's played the comedic character. He's been around a lot longer than people most people think, really. And he's a very good hand, and it's not very often you get to see someone using a DDT that well. So I'm all for keeping Dino around. There's a lot you can do with him. Obviously, a faction, he's done a singles run could be on the cards for him. I wouldn't be against a singles run. When he got the tag title, even though it was as a freebird rule, I popped because finally he's got something. Even though he is, because it's weird because in VBD, technically apart from the Angels, but in terms of Dina and EY, you have someone who's held every single championship in Impact Wrestling. Technically,
yeah,
including the Knockouts title, including the Knockouts tag title. It's so that's doesn't get mentioned a lot, but obvious reasons. So I think we just said we're not gonna. We're doing even as part of a group, we're doing it solo. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So next up, then we'll be doing a Peraza. Keep, and push to the moon.
100% agree with you there. She's too talented. She's got a great character. She knows her character. Great promo. Can work her ass off. Can go in there with anyone and have a great match. Yeah, she's got to stay.
It's not even a question. Dion Peraza. There's rumors she's a contract's running up. I hope Impact can pull out all stops to keep her. I get it. She's done it all in such a short amount of time. But there's still a few things to do. Surely, it can't be just done. main event at pay-per-view, first Knockouts main event pay-per-view. Knockouts champion, Knockouts tag team champion, even though the tag team championship reign could have been a little bit longer. But he's got to keep John Prazo. One of the very, very best, and will go down as one of the greatest knockouts of all time, even though it's only been 2 years. 3 years. About that.
Yeah.
Eddie Edwards. You start with Eddie.
You got to keep him. We refer to him as the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling, but I think you could also say the same about Josh Alexander and Jordan Grace even. It's funny that they're the two world champions at the moment. Eddie Edwards, he's a proven commodity. You know, I've referred to him as Impact's best bout machine, because you know whoever he gets in the ring with, it's gonna be a banger. And he's former world champion, former TNA world champion, and Impact world champion. Not many people can say that. You know, that run with Davey Richards as the American Wolves is legendary. You know, one of the best TNA tag teams ever. Yeah, I'd keep Eddie Edwards for sure.
Yeah, he's along. It's not very rare you have someone. It's quite rare when you have someone who is willing to stay with the company in their darkest time. TNA was on its arse, but Eddie stayed around and carried the Impact World Championship. And even when the Impact World title, obviously at not Rebellion, at Slammiversary during the pandemic, when everyone came to Impact, the Impact World title had a little. Tessa Blanchard, obviously, that whole message was Tessa Blanchard. For Eddie to pick it up and then go on a open challenge, defend it every week, it helped build it back up again, which it needed after being on the shelf for months. So yeah, you got to keep Eddie Edwards, and because at this point, Eddie, no matter what, he's gonna have a banger, but he doesn't need a world championship to be over.
No, exactly.
So I think he can be very good at putting over, but not to the point where his accomplishments and where he gets overlooked, but he still gets his shots that he's earned, but also putting the next generation and the future or the champions over. He just does that very, very well. Eric Young.
What needs to be said about Eric Young? He's an Impact Wrestling legend.
Still here? Yeah, Eric Young is incredible.
Yeah. Did you hear what I said? Sorry.
Yeah, he's an Impact Wrestling legend. Yeah, it's called that. He's someone who's done it all, can do it all, and has done it all. I mean, Violent by Design. It's pretty obvious this is what Sanity should have been on the main roster.
Yeah.
So you've got to keep him. There's no doubt in my mind. And also one of the nicest guys I've ever spoken to. And it's incredible. There we go. So next up, we have management in Gail Kim. Keep. Sure enough, that's what needs to be said on that one.
Well, it depends what she's bringing to the company, because I'm not entirely sure what her role is at the moment.
I mean, it's pretty sure it's not also in the knockouts division. I'm not entirely sure, but it's. I mean, she's brought back Christy Hemme which is probably the marketing they've been doing with the knockouts division over the last few months, which shows. She's been a great on-screen character, on-screen figure as well. I mean, I wish I did differentiate a little bit more in between her and Scott's roles, because it seems like they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's Gail Kim.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, if she has the slight, I mean, we know the Impact Knockouts division, we say every week, is the best division in wrestling. If Gail Kim is the person behind that, like we believe she is, then you've got to keep her, because whatever she's doing, it's working.
Yeah, she's an Impact Hall of Famer, greatest knockout of all time. So I think as long as I think the important thing is differentiating between the roles, the management roles of Scott D'Amore and Gail Kim, but they've had knockout authority figures before, and they've been all right. You've had Madison Rain, you've had Karen Jarrett, and Brooke Tessmacher for a little bit.
Brooke Hogan for a little bit.
Brooke Hogan, of course. So I think it's all about the roles they provide. Backstage with Xia, who I think has come on so much from when she first came around, when they first went to Nashville. I didn't know who she was, but she's an amazing character, and so more. I would. Dang, Wi-Fi. Are we back?
Yeah.
Back now.
Sorry, Craig, I didn't hear a word you said.
It's just on Gia Miller.
Yeah.
It's someone who's come along a lot in terms of character and someone I transitioned to the Knockouts division at some point. She's someone I definitely, even if it's just like the occasional feud where someone gets in her face, she has enough. Fun with that. We've seen she can go. She said matches. She's part of the PWF. John Perazzo, whatever they were called. So Gia Miller, what's your take on that?
Yeah, she's really come into her own in that backstage interviewer role, and she's very entertaining in her duet with Josh.
Yeah.
On BTI. So yeah, I'd keep Gia Miller. Yeah,
she's great. It's one of my favorite parts of. But I don't watch BTI that often, but when I stay for Impact, I always watch it. Gia Miller and Josh Matthews, that back and forth is spectacular. So I'm all about that.
Yeah, they've got great chemistry.
Giselle Shaw. I mean, yeah, go. You can have this one.
Yeah, keep her, push her. I don't think there's much else to say about Giselle Shaw. She's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, excellent. She's had opportunities in Impact before, but now it's proper and it's kicking off, even though it's kind of a running joke that she breaks up tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
But push her, give her the Knockouts title, and so just let everyone run with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, we have Heath. For me, it's 100% absolutely keep him. He's again a very, very good hand, a recognizable name, and someone who can can go and has something. And in a tag team, I think that's where he's best suited. But I would absolutely keep Heath. He's a name, and he can go.
I'm conflicted with Heath because we haven't gotten rid of many people. But like I said a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Under Siege when they opened the show with Heath and Rhino versus Raj Singh and Shira. And the pop that Heath and Rhino got as the first two baby faces out the door.
Yeah.
I would keep Heath and Rhino in that spot. I'd start every show with Heath and Rhino. Because they're recognizable to casual fans. And they're great characters. And, you know, the matches are never outstanding, but they're always good and solid. So I would keep Heath, yes. I was on the fence because he is a name, but I'm not sure how much he brings to the table in 2022. But yeah, I would keep him around.
That's fair enough. I've pretty much only liked Heath since his Impact run. In WWE, he was just there. Didn't really have a lot apart from the Nexus, which was one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling for me.
I don't agree. I think he had a great run in WWE. The stuff he did where he was being beaten up by legends every week leading up to the 1000th episode of Raw.
Yeah,
that was really cool. The I Got Kids run with Rhino was fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
that
the
will
free
probably
agent
be.
stuff. I thought Heath had a great run, an underrated, massively underrated run in WWE.
Yeah, I mean the legend stuff, great, but he's never taken seriously apart from a bit in the Nexus and with the run with Rhino.
But you don't need everyone to be taken ultra seriously. You need utility players like Crazy Steve.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just what I saw. Heath was just fucking nobody cared until we got that with Rhino. But then I got kids thing only got over because Brock Lesnar said I don't give a fuck about your kids. That's the only reason he got over. Which, no, if Brock Lesnar gets something over, helps you get something over, then why not take it?
He got a briefcase over as a boombox.
Yeah. And Cowboy Brock is one of my favourite things ever.
Yeah, Tractor Brock.
But anywho, so next up, Jack Price, gut check winner. It's difficult to say because I haven't seen enough of them. We've seen more of Jason Hotch than we have of Jack Price. I don't know what it is about Jack Price. So
I couldn't pick Jason Price out of a lineup, so I'd get rid of him, I'm afraid. I know who Jason Hotch is. I know, I can't remember his name, the guy with the mask.
Shogun.
Shogun, yes.
Yeah.
I'd keep him around because I know who he is.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what Jason Price looks like.
I'm with you. I don't know why I chose. You can't book one and not the other. When you've both won, go check at the same time. I think it's got to let Jack Price go on that one. Jason Hotch. I think he's got something.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's shown potential. I think he's shown that he's got something, and he just needs more reps. He needs more matches under his belt. Yeah,
I'm 100% with you. Jason Hotch is, and I put him in next division. Give him let him run through 100%. That. I think that'd be interesting to see. Jessica, because she's sick.
I'm a big fan.
I am, but I think I'd let Jessica go. I think I would. So obviously got to defend it. It's great characters, both Havoc and Jessica, and you know, and as a powerhouse in the Knockouts division, really good. But I haven't really enjoyed a Jessica or a Havoc match properly. Like, she's very entertaining, but in terms of matches, if you ask me to pick out a favorite Havoc match, I mean, I wouldn't even mention the one she had against Awesome Kong in Havoc's early run as Knockouts champion. It doesn't do a lot for me. It's only so far I can go on a character, I guess. As a powerhouse, great, but there's not a lot there for me, in my opinion.
Okay, I don't agree. I think this Jessica character has given her a new lease of life. I'm enjoying the tag team with Taya, although we haven't seen much of it yet. I have enjoyed what I have seen. The Death Dolls. I just like the dynamic all three of them have together. So yeah, I'd keep Jessica around. You also want to keep Sammy Callahan sweet.
So next up, Joe Doring. I mean, I don't feel right saying much on this.
No,
I think we'll just move past. Joe Doring is an excellent big man, and just hope he gets well and comes back and continues kicking ass, because I do enjoy what Joe Doring can do. His house fights against Luke Gallows and everyone else he's faced, fantastic. So but next up we've got Joe Hendry. I think it's pretty obvious you've got to keep him.
He's only just got here. What would you get rid of him for?
Yeah.
No, I believe in Joe Hendry. I'm keeping him around for sure.
Yeah, I
mean, I don't want to gloss over Joe Hendry. I think he's fantastic. I think he's so talented, and we have this stereotype as British wrestlers of being small and underdeveloped, whereas Joe Hendry's fucking huge. So yeah, if he can go any way to change that stereotype, I guess Nick Aldis changed it as well.
Yeah.
Joe Hendry, he hasn't shown a fraction in this Impact run of what he can truly do. And that goes for his character work and his in-ring work. We've still got a lot of Joe Hendry left to see.
Yes. 100% with you. I believe in Joe Hendry, and I believe Joe Hendry will be the next digital media champion.
Yeah, I mean, we don't look at spoilers. Is he wrestling Brian Myers on this week's episode?
Yeah,
tonight.
Yeah.
I think he'll take the belt tonight.
100%. John E. Bravo. I haven't. He hasn't been on TV lately. It's only so far you can take it, unless you're gonna. I don't see what you can do on that one. I will let Johnny Bravo go, as an because backstage he's obviously doing a lot more. So I don't know. Maybe I'll keep him as backstage.
I don't know what he does backstage. I guess he's a producer.
Yeah.
If he's doing a good job, which how would we know?
And trainer as well.
But from seeing the stuff he's done with Gut Check, he comes across as such a prick. If that was just for the TV show, then fine. But if he's like that in real life, then we've moved on from the 80s and 70s and 80s, John. You don't need to treat people like a dickhead anymore.
No, everyone's learning.
I can talk about this from experience. There are other ways to train people. You can actually be nice to people, and they will learn and pick things up. You don't need to treat them. You don't need to be a bully. So yeah, I on that front, I would get rid of Johnny Bravo.
Fair.
If he's working as a producer and he's doing a good job, then by all means keep him.
Yeah. I thought I didn't even know I was on roster still, but I'm pretty sure I know the answer's going to be John Schuyler. Bye, John.
Right, so I think he's so generic.
Yeah, there's not much point in sticking him out on that one because he hasn't really done anything.
No.
Next up, Johnny Swinger.
The swingman, Daddy.
Got to keep him.
Yeah, got to keep Swinger. Absolutely. We have no idea still what truly goes on in Swinger's Dungeon. I need more Swinger's Dungeon.
Yeah, got to see what's in that. So we'll try and fly for as many as we can in the next 5 minutes. Jordan Grace.
Nah, suck her off.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Honestly, what's she done apart from just completely dominating the fucking
what's she done apart from being one of the best wrestlers in the world? Nah, get rid of Jordan Grace. Yeah, what is there to say? She's
fantastic. Again, someone hasn't really done much. Josh Alexander.
Again, they're just grouped together, aren't they? It's funny how they next to each other. I guess that's how the alphabet works. Yeah, obviously keep Josh Alexander.
The walking weapon, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
have him break Rude's record, drop it to someone else, and then go back on the chase for something else.
Yeah, he's third now, isn't he? He's overtaken Johnny Impact.
Yeah. So it's just AJ Styles and Bobby Roode left, which I know they mentioned on the mothership this Sunday. If Impact and WWE can work something out to get Bobby Roode to come back to face Josh, I mean, stranger things have happened. Shinsuke Nakamura's going to Pro Wrestling Noah. There's talks of Seth Rollins facing Will Ospreay in New Japan. They're talking about that. Like, if we can get Bobby Roode to pop up just for one, to help to break his record, to get Josh to the next level to break his record. I mean, what's Roode doing in WWE right now? I think he's somewhere in catering with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, exactly. Let him come and play at Impact for a couple of tapings.
Yeah. Juice Robinson. Well, I want to keep him, but if obviously he's all elite.
Yeah, exactly. He's going elsewhere. So, I mean, it frees up some money, I guess.
Josh Matthews. For me, it's keep backstage. On BTI, he's all right, but I think Josh Matthews is very underrated in what he has done for Impact in terms of the brand. You've got to keep Josh Matthews on and keep him backstage. Have him do stuff backstage.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't think we truly know every single thing that Josh does for Impact. I think he's so important to the day-to-day business of Impact Wrestling. So, yeah, I'd keep Josh. I wouldn't necessarily bust him out as a commentator again, because we've got a great commentary team already.
The best.
And yeah, he does a fine job on BTI. But yeah, keep him. Dinky, what is the matter? Come and say hello. She's been snoring on the sofa through this whole podcast. Come on. Come on, darling. Yeah, I keep Josh Matthews.
Yeah. Kenny King.
Oh, keep.
Keep.
I know Alec won't agree with me.
And again, keeping the X Division pushing towards that title.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have to win it right away, but definitely has to hold it again at some point.
Yeah, I think I want Kenny King as dickhead heel champion again, so people can chase him.
Kelly.
Yeah, keep. She just needs more reps.
Yeah,
we need to see more of her.
Give her
all we've really
feud.
seen her do is choke out Tasha Steelz. I think is she wrestling Savannah Evans at Overdrive?
Yeah. It's Savannah, yeah. So nearly what we call it time. We'll go with the Radio Kid. The Radio Kid.
Yeah, I like the Radio.
I'm torn.
Are you back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to keep your Radio Kid.
Yeah, I'll go with that. He's a very good hand and should be X Division champion soon. I'll see. Hopefully he's okay after that horrible injury.
Yeah.
So we'll put it on pause for you and we'll pick it up. Maybe not next week, but somewhere down the line. We'll be starting with Marsha Slamovich. So get your thoughts on Marsha Slamovich in the comments. Of course, follow us here, there, everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you podcast. TBN chats with Zach Knight, with Charlie Morgan, with Lizzie Ever, with Rio, Ricky Knight Jr.
Leon Slater coming up.
Yeah, Leon Slater dropping next week, hopefully. Just before he heads off to the GCW. Obviously go check out LOL TNA. It was a return of light TNA jams. Again, they smashed it. The Tia and Bert are killing it on the power rankings, so go watch that. Getting into a groove, finding their style, and it's all coming up good for the TNA IW channel. So follow us wherever you go. You've already seen this though, because this will be on the final 10. We didn't introduce the final 10. So stick around for the final 10 with Frank Fiott. Knew there was something. Yeah, stick around for that. And yeah, above all, enjoy wrestling, enjoy Impact Wrestling. And let us know what you thought of this week's Impact in the comments as well. And just enjoy it because it's a lot of fun. Until next time, I've been at MIC. This has been Nixon, and we continue to be Nixon. Until next time, this is Final 10. And here we are with Final 10. As you can see, we have a guest, as I probably mentioned earlier. It's the creator of our incredible theme song, and of course, from Pro Wrestling East, it's Mr. Frank Fiott. How's it going?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me back on the show. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, we appreciate it coming on. It's his first time I've been on Matchbook on the Final 10 with you, but I guess we'll get into it because this weekend is this Saturday, in fact, is worth the wait. And obviously, as matches been announced so far, well, just quickly run them off. First of all, to crown the inaugural PWE Women's Champion, we have Charlie Morgan versus Nightshade. The inaugural Men's Champion is G-Money, unfortunately replacing Nixon, facing RJ Singh. Scotty Rourke and Sam Miller take on Rhea O'Reilly and Truman Roswell. The Heritage take on Fight and Flight. Evie Madden versus Shaniqua, I hope I'm saying that right. Oliver War versus Kieran Lacey, and the Super Raffle Bros, Carnage and Tim Lee versus Sunset Skip and Tommy Kyle.
That's it.
It's seems like a really, really fun card. So what can people expect from this card, obviously apart from seeing 2 new champions being crowned?
Yeah, I think you nailed it when you said fun. I mean, one thing we've always wanted to do at Pro Wrestling East is we want our shows to be fun. We don't like, I love, serious wrestling's great, but I want our events to be a fun night out. I want you to bring your mates who don't know anything about wrestling and for them to come out of it going, yeah, that was fun. That was worth 15 quid. I'll do that again. So I think there will be, a lot of fun, a lot of hijinks. We've got some good fun wrestlers on the card, like Tim Lee, especially. He's one of my favorite in the realm of more comedic wrestlers. But also, as you touched upon, we'll have the crowning of our first ever champions between Charlie Morgan and Nightshade, our first ever women's champion, and between RJ Singh and Gene Money to crown our first ever men's champion, which should have been between RJ Singh and Peter Nixon, but someone broke his collarbone.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I just hope you're not in too much pain.
So obviously, this would be my first time attending a Pro Wrestling East show. Still there?
Yeah, thank you for coming.
I know who he is.
I don't know what the answer's going to be. John Schuyler. The Wi-Fi is frustrating, but no, yeah, it's,
so I think he's so generic.
The card seems very fun. It's familiar with a fair few, and there's not much point in sticking them out. It's a good mix of people really who are really hot on the UK scene right now.
Next up,
people
Johnny
rising
Swinger.
through the ranks, such as Tommy Kyle,
Swingman,
and
Dead
that damn dirty
keep
dog
him.
Gene Money. Racing for
got to
the
keep Swinger.
championship, and it seems
Absolutely.
like a very
we
fun.
have no idea still
I said, it
truly
seems
goes
like a
on
very
in
fun
Swinger's
card
Dungeon.
over.
I need more Swinger's Dungeon.
Managed to catch
gotta see what's
the
in
Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel.
So we'll try and find
Nixon's
some
match against
Gene
Gene
in the
Money.
next 5 minutes.
And
Jordan Grace.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Suck her off.
Yeah, a very, very good match. So
I know, right?
honestly, what's she done apart from this
saying?
completely dominating tickets?
Yes.
What's she done
We've
apart
got
from being one of the
20
best
something left
wrestlers in the world?
as
No,
of
get rid of
this call. There's
Jordan
150 seats available.
Yeah,
We sold
what is there to say?
20
She
something.
is-
We've got 20 something left.
she's
Fantastic.
We had sold 120, but we've just sold a few more, and I'm
again,
not sure how many. Which
someone
is why I'm
hasn't
being
really
quite
done
vague on the
much.
exact number.
Josh like
But yeah, so it's doing really well. I honestly think it's,
Again, they're just
who
grouped
doesn't
together,
really
aren't they?
love
It's
the
funny
crowning
how
of our
they
first champions. So
next to each
I
other.
do think
I
this
guess
is going
that's
to
how
do.
the alphabet
Yeah, I do
works.
think this will sell out. So
Um,
you can buy a ticket from Pro Wrestling
yeah.
East.
Obviously, keep
Yeah,
Josh
it's
Alexander.
over at
The
UK.
walking weapon for crying out
But
loud.
just to go back to something you said about
Have him
Money,
break Ruth's
Peter Nixon match,
record,
I just want
drop
to
it to
shout out
someone else,
referee
and
Chris
then
Hatch,
go back
who did
on
a
chase
fantastic
for
job.
something else.
I was totally
Yeah.
willing just to.
He's
just to be a
he's
complete
third now,
goofball,
isn't he? He's
which
overtaken
was amazing. So I just
Johnny
want to
Impact.
big up Chris
Yeah.
Hatch for that.
So it's just
Yeah,
AJ
Hatch
Styles and
is,
Bobby Roode
he's
there,
up for anything.
which I know
Yeah,
you mentioned on
he's
the
really
mothership
cool. I like Chris
this
a lot.
Sunday. If Impact and
So-
WWE can work something out to get Bobby Roode to come back for
Obviously, the
face
champions.
it's the final matches
mean,
are coming down from.
Stranger things have
happened.
since
Since the
Nakamura's
tournament
gone to
paid
Wrestling Noah.
out over a few shows. There's
Yeah.
talks of Seth Rollins
How-
facing Will Ospreay in New Japan. They're talking about that. Like if Bobby
To-
Roode
if to
pop
be part of
one. How important is it to have champions on of who are traveling around the UK and will be representing Pro Wrestling East as a champions? How important is that as a to gain awareness for British wrestling and for Pro Wrestling as a whole? How important is that to have names? Whoever wins these tournaments, that some of the best the UK has to offer. So how important is that it will have the impact to have British wrestling and on Pro Wrestling East to have people like these competing?
Yeah, it's great for us. It's talent in many places. So if they go somewhere else, they are the Pro Wrestling East champion. So it gets people to go, oh, Pro Wrestling East, I'm not familiar with them. Let me look them up. So it helps spread our name throughout the country and hopefully throughout the world as well. And I think it just shows to the fans and to the British wrestling community on the whole that we are in this for the long term. We're not some fly-by-night promotion that's just going to disappear. Once people see how nice the belts look, and once people find out how much money we spent on them, it will. I mean, yeah, it will give people confidence that they can invest in us, because they know that, you know, when we say, yeah, we're going to do these shows, they are going to happen because we've invested all this into it so far, not just money, but our time and our effort. And yeah, the belts look gorgeous. I've just seen the final photos. They look absolutely incredible. And I really think people are going to be quite impressed with how great they look. And yeah, I do think it will, yeah, it just, you know, make us look good, make our talent look good as well, because they get to go other pretty nice shiny belts, and it makes it look like, oh, you must be really good if you know, Mr. Shiny Belt's over there. Wanted you to have the title. So hopefully it just benefits everyone. And I don't see, other than our wallets, I don't see a downside to to any of this.
It's awesome. Can't wait to see them. I'm a big fan of belts, and I can't wait to see how they look and whose race they go around. So the last previous Pro Wrestling issue is available in the entirety on YouTube. Am I right saying?
Yes, so the all the shows but the last one are available both as individual matches and as a complete put together show. The most recent show will be available as a complete put together show, hopefully before Saturday. It depends if I have time to edit it together, but all the matches are up there anyway, so you can follow the tournament along. You know, you can see how we got to where we are. There's a bunch of other videos as well on the YouTube. We've got some promo videos. There's a tail of the tape for both title matches. It's important to me that we do these promos, these highlights, these, you know, something for if someone does want to jump in and see what we've been up to. You know, they don't have time to watch several 3-hour long shows. So like before the semi-finals, we put together 2 little videos just of the highlights of the quarterfinals, just kind of summing everything up in like a couple of minutes. So there's things like that people can watch. There's, as I said, the tail of the tape, which goes through who the talents are, you know, their stats. So yeah, a lot of videos for people to watch. It's all up there on YouTube for free. So yeah, take advantage.
Yeah, if I could say this about Pro Wrestling East, the shows are, you know, that it reflects the kind of people that come to the shows, because you get such an array of people, all different types of fans coming to the show. You get your casual fan, people that don't necessarily follow wrestling but are there to just have a good time. You got your diehards, your people that are going to Progress, you know, every other weekend, and you've got, you know, families. You've got old, young. It's such a great mix, and that reflects in the way that the shows are booked. In terms of, there is something for everyone on these shows. You know, these shows are meant to be fun, and they are a lot of fun. But you also get, you know, tremendous professional wrestling. Like I say, yeah, it's just so much fun. I'm very proud to be a part of the Pro Wrestling East product. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to being a spectator on Saturday.
Yeah, because Peter Nixon will be in attendance. So yeah, it'd be really nice to see you, and yeah, hopefully you'll have as much fun as everyone else does.
I usually do.
Oh,
excellent!
I can't wait to see the show. We'll put the link to the Pro Wrestling East YouTube in the description, so you can go check that out. People who want to know where can they find Pro Wrestling East besides YouTube, on social media? Where can they find what it's all about?
So prowrestlingeast.co.uk is our website. Pro Wrestle East on Twitter and Instagram, because Pro Wrestling East was too many letters. Just search for Pro Wrestling East on Facebook, and youtube.com/Pro Wrestling East. But yeah, it's all linked on the website, and that's that's where all our stuff is. And as I say, there's a lot to watch on there. Just, you know, catch up, or if you don't have time, it's fine. You know, you'll easily pick it up on the night. Our host Sanj is great, and he'll make sure people know what's going on. And there'll be some videos as well to quickly just catch you up if you need it.
There you have it. This has been the final 10. I've been at MIC. This has been Nixon. This has been Frank Fiott. Follow us here, there, everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you podcast. Until next time, goodbye, my friends.